So Jon Stewart was interviewed recently. By the way, he has a great show on, I think it's Apple TV. Some of the clips get released on YouTube and stuff. And I think he's gotten sharper since he left The Daily Show. I think his politics have actually gotten better. And so he's doing, like a round of press in order to get the word out about his new show. And we got this news. Jon Stewart on thinking about running for office. Quote, "How do you not when you look at who's there?" Jon Stewart saying, "How do you not?" Wow. Jon Stewart says it's impossible not to consider running for office himself when he sees the shitheads who are currently in Congress. "Oh God, how do you not?" Stewart told Kara Swisher in an episode of her New York Times Sway podcast released Thursday when asked if he ever thought about a political campaign. How do you not when you watch all that and you're like, oh my God, this is terrible. The Apple TV Plus problem with Jon Stewart host said, it's sort of like when you get in a car and the one driver's drunk and you're like, did you ever think about taking the wheel? You're like, yeah, I did, Stewart exclaimed. I don't know that I'd have the temperament for it, the 59-year-old comedian and former Daily Show host said after Swisher noted the dispositions of former President Trump and Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. It's having the patience, like, how come that person gets to still be here? Make that person leave, Stewart replied. I also think like there's a lot that goes around that has nothing to do with passion or care about issues or wanting to help people. That has to do with fundraising and the way the game is played and the lack of perspective on it, said Stewart, a frequent visitor to Capitol Hill, as he's advocated for veterans exposed to burn pits and for 9/11 first responders. So, Crystal made a good point to me about this. So I was like, I don't know, he sounds non-committal, and he was asked the question, he was just responding to it. And Crystal said, well, but he was retired from TV. He didn't want to do TV anymore. He didn't want to do The Daily Show anymore. It was a constant grind to do that show. And he left. But why would he come back to do some sort of a TV show if he left TV and he was tired by the grind? And you can say, well, the schedule's lighter now, et cetera, et cetera. That's true, but the show he's doing is very similar to The Daily Show. I think it's just a little sharper. It's possible the reason he got back into TV is to keep his name relevant, keep his name very public, and use that as a springboard to run for office. It's the equivalent of when, these goofball senators or whatever release a book before they run for office. It's like they release a book, helps lay out their vision, helps, try to keep them relevant. It never actually makes them relevant because nobody reads their damn books. But this is like a more intelligent and more helpful version of that. And so, it's possible, right? Like, it is possible that the whole point of I'm going to get back into TV, I don't know how long his contract is, but it's sort of like a springboard. And, his answer is interesting, right? Because he was like, how do you not think about running for office when you look at how broken everything is, when you look at how terrible these people are? Of course I thought about it. That's not an of course answer. Like, there are plenty of people who wouldn't think of course. There are plenty of people who look at it and say, I'm not touching it with a 10-foot pole, but he said, of course I thought about it. Of course I thought about it. So is he thinking of running for office? He very well may be. I don't know. I cannot read his mind. We can only try to read the tea leaves based on his straightforward comments here. So the next question is, well, if you're going to run, what position are you going to run for? Now that's fascinating. I don't know, man. Funny enough, when I heard him, the way he answered this question, my gut instinct was that he would run for, like, the Senate. I don't know why I thought that, but I thought that. Crystal thought, no, this is, if he runs, he'd run for president. You do have the, Trump laid the foundation and showed you're a celebrity, you're a big name, you just throw your hat in the ring. You go out there, you naturally are going to get a lot of press because the media can't help but have a sensationalism bias. So they go to the squeakiest wheel, gets the grease, gets the most entertainment, gets the most views. And Jon Stewart is definitely, a hilarious person who knows how to command attention. Imagine him on stage with, like, Mayor Pete. Like, the Mayor Pete doesn't stand a chance in the wit department, in the communication department. You have like a robot built in a lab and a guy who's a phenomenal comedian. So I don't know. If he does run, he might actually just jump right to president, right to the big one. And we'll see. But again, his politics have gotten very, very sharp over the years. I think he's only gotten better since he left The Daily Show. He just released, I just watched one of his things last night. It was on how Redditors expose the stock market. And man, it was so good. It was so good. Of course, he's talking about the whole GameStop thing. You guys got to check that out because it explains like a complex issue. He boils it down into just its straightforward, simple parts and makes it very digestible and understandable. And that's what he does so well. And that's why, the media landscape was worse without him. So I don't know for sure if he's going to run for office. Clearly, he's thought about it. And then my question for you guys is, if he does run, is he going to run for president, for the U.S. Senate, or for something else? You tell me. Ever since Adpocalypse, when YouTube defunded all independent news and politics overnight, we haven't trusted them. We know they can pull the rug out from underneath us at any time. If you enjoy this content, please consider tipping $1 or $2 per month on the Secular Talk Patreon. Link in the video description box below. Thanks for your support.